All right, so a small first-time show in Rancho Cordova, which is just south of Sacramento. And I was excited. It's a small show, as you can see from the room there. Maybe about, 40 dealers or so. Lots and lots of value boxes. Not a ton of cases, just because space was tight. There were a lot of vintage dealers, a few modern, but the promoter of the show is a vintage dealer, so he is always trying to get vintage guys. So right off the bat, like the first table I really took a look at, I found this 1970 Roberto Clemente, and I asked to take a look at it, and it's in a 6, but it looks really, really nice, like a super sharp card. Now on the back, there's a little bit of a paper pulp I'm taking a closer look at there. And you can kind of see it at the bottom. We'll take a closer look in a minute. And I'm asking about the price because it looks like it says 100 on it, but one of the zeros looks a little bit weird, so I couldn't really quite tell.
Yeah, it says 100 on it. I didn't know what that number was right there. I didn't know if it was 100. Yeah. Would you take 80 for it? All right, let's do it.
So I offered him 80. Without hesitation, he said yes, which I thought was a pretty good deal. I thought this was a really nice looking card, other than that one little mark on the back. So let's take a closer look at it. Again, this is a 1970 Topps Roberto Clemente in a 6, and it looks like it's packed fresh to me. Now, super clean card. There's a little bit of a glare on the screen, but if you look, you'll see right at the bottom, there's this little mark right there, which looks like paper pulp, which sometimes will just be a paper flaw, which is why I think it came down to a 6. Otherwise, I think this card grade's a 7, maybe even an 8. You can see it here. Centering's nice, really clean edges, and again, there's a little bit of a glare on the picture I took there for you, but a great looking card. And here are some recent comps: 120, 100, and that one went for 165 not that long ago. This is a card that's usually selling for about $125 or so. So I thought that was a great deal at $80. So $80 for that Clemente. Super excited about. So then I saw my buddy Jeff over here. Now, Jeff has been a dealer in the area for a while, and I'm actually going to have Jeff on the show here pretty soon, in a week or week and a half, because we're going to talk about a couple of things. He does a lot of shows, but he also does Whatnot. And a lot of people have been asking me about Whatnot and my thoughts of Whatnot. And so we're going to talk to him about that from kind of a dealer perspective. There's a huge Whatnot event coming up, and I'm currently in the middle of trying to work with Whatnot. I'm trying to come up with some sort of deal for you guys. And if you actually look in the video description of this video, there's a link where if you sign up for Whatnot with the link, they'll give you $15 free. Jeff's got some sweet stuff, and he's a Whatnot dealer as well. Here's Jeff's contact information if there's anything in there you saw and liked. So, again, lots of boxes. So you can see I'm going through these slabs are 20, 30, 35, 20, and then boom, got a pretty cool Clemente there. And that one kind of caught my eye. I started thinking about that's Clemente's last card. He was asking 50 in a PSA 5. So that one went up to the think tank. And I kept on digging through his box to see what else is in there. See if I could maybe come up with a package deal or a package offer. And a lot of vintage stuff. This guy had a lot of modern, but also had a lot of vintage. So, when you're flipping through a box like this, it's not super organized. Sometimes you'll find a gem. Sometimes you'll find something really great. So, you got Pete Rose's in here, and Nolan Ryan's and McCovey. Some really good stuff. He had a bunch of Mike Schmidt's, which was interesting. Carew, Yastrzemski. And then, again, it would just go from basketball to football and back to baseball and then football again. Got a nice Unitas there for $10 and a Sonny Jurgensen. So I started kind of continuing to dig through. Some of them were off condition. Some of them were okay. Most of them were raw, but a few were graded. And some of the prices, like that price on that Pete Rose was a little high, but others were super fair. So I love boxes like this because you literally never know what the next card is going to be. So I am digging away, and you can see right there in his case next to me is a bunch of modern stuff. So another Nolan Ryan. So that's the thing that I like. And I go, whoa, a 69 Clemente for $15. I turned over and it had scribbling on it. So that wasn't going to work, even at $15. But literally, that's the kind of things that happen. You go, oh, look, a Joe Montana rookie in there. And then a Mini Minoso, 59. And a couple cards later is a Michael Jordan starting lineup. This one was 40. He was asking 50 on the one graded a 5. So I'm still thinking on that one, but for an extra $10, it was better condition, and it was in a 5 holder already. But then you start getting in here, a decent-looking 1960 Bob Gibson. Got a Cal Ripken rookies in here. Some 70s Pete Roses. And then, look at that, some Ken Griffey Jr.'s. Oh, look at that, second-year Richie Allen. To me, his best-looking card. So I kept moving my way around the room. Again, not a big room, not a big show, but that's a cool Pee Wee Reese card. Now I'm just showing you the highlights. I cut out the stuff that I didn't think y'all would be interested in. We got some 49 Bowmans. Got some post-serial stuff. These disorganized boxes where there's no real rhyme or reason to them, I absolutely love going through them. Just because I am more than happy to dig, not knowing what I'm going to find. And there's a nice 51 Robin Roberts. I have one of those in my collection. Mine's ungraded. And you get, a 75 Hall of Famer rookie. And then a 59 Drysdale. That actually was a decent deal, $25. Again, I love buying stuff at shows because there's no tax, there's no shipping. But at the same time, sometimes the prices maybe were priced a while ago, so the prices might be high in a down market or low in an up market. And right now, being in a down market, a lot of prices are a little bit higher than you might think because it hadn't been priced in a while. There's a Burt Blyleven rookie in a 6. It's a decent-looking card. Looks kind of like a low-end 6 to me, to be honest, though. I've wanted a Blyleven rookie for a while. I don't have one. And then you're just digging through, and you got some T206s and then a 69 Jim Palmer. This was a nice-looking card. It was $35 for a 68 Ernie Banks. So I was like, I like Ernie Banks, but 68, $35, I think that's a little high for an ungraded one. But it was pretty nice looking. Looked to me like, just in the quick glance, it was like a 5 or a 6. And then a Robert Yount rookie. 61 Willie Mays. So this stuff is fun for me. I saw several viewers of the channel at the show, and that was a lot of fun. Look at that, T206s. Lots of T206s in this box. No Hall of Famers, though. Look at that, 69 Bob Gibson was pretty decent looking. So it was really fun. I ran into several viewers of the channel, stopped and talked. Thank you to those of you that said hello. If you ever see me, don't hesitate to stop me. One of the best parts of going to a show is seeing some of you. You got a couple Clementes, and there's another one of that Ernie Banks cards. Now we're kind of in a stretch of really good stuff right in here. You got your Strimskys. There's another Blyleven. Some really cool cards through here. Thurman Munson. But yeah, if you ever see me at a show, do not hesitate to stop me and say hello. Fergie Jenkins rookie. It's a lot of fun to just chat and catch up and meet people and make new connections. So I kept thinking about that other Clemente from earlier. So I decided to circle back and find the box and see if it was still in there. There it is. He's asking $50 for a PSA 5. It's a newer grade. So I said, I think I'm going to pull it aside. I'm going to pull it aside, take a closer look at it here in a second. He had another, I think one of his more double row boxes I skipped earlier. So I'm kind of zipping through some of that. And I'm thinking, well, if he wants $50 for it, maybe I could offer him less. It's just in a box. It's not in his showcase. That's the other thing about boxes is a lot of times there's less attachment to the box cards. The cards that they think highly of, the dealer thinks highly of, is in their showcase. So if it's not in their showcase, sometimes they're just like, oh, if I can get anything out of these boxes, that'd be great. Which means that they're sometimes a little bit more willing to let it go at a lower price than they're marked at. That's another thing I like about the boxes. So I'm zipping through here again. Just... And it's amazing how you'll go from some commons to a big name and a star Hall of Famer. So you can see I asked him there, hey, do you have any room on the cards in these boxes? And he says, oh, yeah, sure. So now I'm thinking, okay, 50 is definitely more than I'm going to be paying. He just told me he's got room on them. So now I'm thinking I'm going to offer him maybe 40. Because before I was thinking 45, but he said, oh, yeah, I got room. So now I'm thinking, I think I'm going to offer him 40 for this Clemente. And again, just, the grading fees are $25, right? So this is what's going through my mind right now. I'm like, well, the grading fee is $25, and that's a 5, which is a decent grade by, the new standards for PSA. So if I can get it for 40, that means it's really 15 for the card and 25 for the plastic. And it's Roberto Clemente, and it's his last card. So I decided it's time to make my move. So I get it out, give it one more really thorough look. It's pretty well centered, off-center on the back, but that doesn't bother me that much. I don't really care about that. The corners, the corners are a little bit soft. But it's a 5. That's why it's priced where it is. It's not going to have corners like a 7. So I give it one more real close look at each of the corners. The top right corner is bugging me a little bit. But again, it's a 5, and I'm about to offer him $40. So I decided to go for it.
Could you do 40 on that?
Yeah.
Again, without any hesitation, the dealer says, yeah, no problem. As I'm offering him 80% of a slabbed Roberto Clemente card. It's interesting. So here it is. Again, the corners have touches on them, but that's why it's a 5. The centering's decent. Very clean surface, very clean image. None of those print marks you see from time to time on the 73 Topps cards. And then the back. Again, the back is off-center, but me personally, this is not a big deal. There's a little bit of a, not a scuff on the case, but it's like where an old sticker was. I was rubbing it there. But yeah, very clean looking, nice looking card. It's just the touch on the corners. Other than that, it's really nice. You can see that top left corner is but that's why it's a 5. Centering's great. Surface is great. Picture is great. Edges are really good. So I'm pretty happy with that purchase for $40. And again, it's a cool card. It's his last card, and you can see down there where it has his hit total right on 3,000, as he famously got his 3,000th hit in the last game he played before he lost his life. And you look there, one sold for 71 recently, and one sold for 58.88, and then one for 61. So I'm feeling like $40 is a really good deal. So I went on over. This guy commonly has a lot of vintage stuff. I've bought from him before, but it looked like he had mostly commons this time. It went through some 48, 49 Bowmans there. And then I decided to look at these guys. You don't see these very often. They're from a bread company. They're kind of rare. So, they go for $6 or $7 even for the commons.
I like the 48.
So I looked through those, see if there were any minor stars or anything. My dad had just walked up, and I'm talking to him as I'm going through some of this stuff. Again, this box is usually mostly commons, and then in the case, he usually has stars, but this time there are mostly minor stars and Hall of Famers. I really like the 50 and 51 Bowman set. I've always been high on those sets. And he had a bunch of commons in 5s and 6s. So I'm looking through those just because I think that they're such good-looking cards. He's asking anywhere from $35 to $65 on these, depending on the grade, depending on the player, depending on the rarity of the card. And then the 54 Bowmans I like a lot. Again, these are mostly commons. Some of them are in decent shape. Some of them are a little rough. But I really like the 54 Bowmans, and I'm thinking, well, what if there's somebody in there who shouldn't be? So I'm going to just go through them because I like that 54 set a lot.
Okay.
And so that's where I stood on that. Now, this is put on by the same promoter that puts on that Sacramento show. If you're interested in going to the next Sacramento show, that is the information. Early January is the next Sacramento Card Show at the Wyndham. And again, here's the case. Usually there's a lot of kind of slab cards in here, but he must have sold some of them recently. There's still some cool stuff, a few Hall of Famers, but nothing crazy. So I just decided, you know what? I'm going to pass. It's a small show, but hey, I got back on the buying bandwagon. Bought a couple more Clementes. Can't go wrong with that.